Hello, everybody, and welcome back to Tournament of the Storm. Today, we are going to be recasting 3 of the games played between Team Orange and Team Leoric Jenkins, especially in light of my failure to get good recordings of their games yesterday. So this is being recorded as a courtesy to them. We are live on Twitch, but after this, we're going to be uploading these to the YouTube channel, where I have all of my other recordings for the streamings that I did yesterday. So, our first game has us on Dragonshire. Again, this is Team Orange sporting the blue colors, and Team Leoric Jenkins with the yellow colors. Unfortunately, on a replay, I can't show you the draft, so I'll go ahead and give you a review of how everything turned out. So Saturn will be playing Rhaegar Lexibo on Kel'Thas, Turtle Soup playing as Tychus, Darth Raven as Garrosh, and Shadow Sheila playing Malthael. On the red team, we have Psycho playing Junkrat, Fairy Sunbeam on Diablo, Thendis on Sonya, and Artemis for playing Orphea, and finally Cody Sparks on Alexstrasza. Both teams pretty meta, exactly what we like to see, and the game is starting. This is the first game for both teams, and the first time that they played against each other. Both teams start by going middle, a nice little friendly fight. Get a grenade on Junkrat there. Diablo hiding maliciously in the bush. There's a little trap there too for any unsuspecting bush dwellers. And not a lot of action so far. Looks like both Sonya and Malthael have migrated top to soak some lane experience, while the rest of the 4 players on the other teams continue to duke it out and possibly look for an opportunity to get a kill. Looks like that's not going to happen. Kel'Thas is moving down to the bottom lane, and somebody on red team should be joining them shortly. Yep, actually all of Leoric Jenkins' remaining players appear to be migrating south. Some of them actually heading, I thought maybe for the mercenary camp, but that won't be up for another 10 seconds. There's the bottom, a little bit of damage on Diablo, but again, so far, not a lot of damage being done to these players. Here's the sneak around from Garrosh, manages to throw Orphea into Team Orange. Is she going to be able to get out? No, she managed to get a chomp off, do a little bit of damage, but not enough time. Alexstrasza certainly did everything she could to keep her alive, but it was not enough. It looks like Sonya and Malthael have been relegated to taking care of both the top and the middle lanes, while the rest of the 8 players on the other 2 teams focus on both these mercenary camps and managing this bottom lane. Between this map and I believe it's Towers of Doom, there's a pretty popular strategy where you just put 1 player in charge of rotating between the top and middle. I think they also do this on Spider Queen. You put 1 player on top and middle, and then you have the rest of your team just focus on bottom. And the reason you do this, actually, we'll go back to this. Diablo managing to slam the Tychus into the wall. Tychus getting away and putting a lot of damage right back into him. That's just petty, but hey, that's HOTS for you. They also have the siege camp here, Team Leoric Jenkins. That gives you just a little bit of extra pressure, although they're not too hard to kill, especially when you have 4 players on your team defending. Looks like they're still going strong, though. Junkrat getting tossed over by Garrosh, similar to how Orphea did earlier, but he has the advantage of the concussion mine, manages to get himself back into safety. Maps like this where you have a siege camp here and a siege camp here are really common to have both players come bottom, because you can get a lot of control just by managing the siege camps and running them into the enemy fortifications. You can see that's what these teams are doing here. Diablo pushing the Garrosh back towards their team. Orphea throwing incredible amounts of damage onto that Garrosh, and he goes down. Malthael and Sonya still doing this lovely dance of making sure that the top and middle lanes are covered. Sonya, oh, actually Sonya's on the camp. Diablo kind of taking her place a little bit. Team Leoric Jenkins may be able to put a little bit of pressure onto this fortification, although it looks like Team Orange managed to get their siege camp. Sonya still getting the bruiser camp here. Is there going to be a fight down bottom? Team Leoric Jenkins more than likely wanting to take out these siege camp before they get anywhere near these forts here. They've got 3 players here. Diablo up top taking that. So it's looking like a 3v4 down bottom. So I don't think they're going to be able to get the shrine down here, but they are able to take out those siege camps. And they got a camp of their own after nearly an eternity of working on it. Sonya was able to take care of this bruiser camp up here. Diablo getting caught by the root from Kel'Thas, but not suffering a ton of damage, mostly on account of how tanky he is. He's a big boy. He's going to be able to survive more than just a couple hits. We have a full-on mercenary-assisted fight between the two bruisers up top. Meanwhile, bottom, no less action going on down here, and Team Leoric Jenkins manages to get the Dragon Knight for both, gets both shrines. Looks like not for long though. A lot of damage going in on this Team Orange, but Rhaegar, an incredibly proficient healer. Diablo coming in from the north, manages to toss Kel'Thas over. He's not going to let him go that easily, but the damage is just too much, and there's not enough follow-up from his team. They're not going to be able to get that kill. Excellent job zoning on the part of Team Orange's, I guess, Kel'Thas's fellow Team Orange players. Diablo coming in, stunning the Garrosh. If anybody can get damage on Garrosh, it's that Orphea, but I think she missed her chomp, and now Diablo's been thrown into Team Orange. Is he going to be able to escape? Will Alex Strauss be able to heal him up? She's doing her best. But unfortunately, it's not quite enough, but they do manage to take out the Rhaegar. And the Tychus. If we take a look at the damage, we can see for Team Leoric Jenkins, top damage for hero damage is Junkrat, followed shortly by, followed shortly behind by Orphea. Team Leoric Jenkins going to be able to take both shrines here. Will they get the Dragon Knight? Junkrat going for it. The rest of the team is over here, all the way over to the west. So there's the first Dragon Knight of the game. And at this level, these are all platinum players. At this level, it can often take a really long time for the Dragon Knight to come out. So I'm actually surprised we were able to see it before level 10. And actually, this is great. Look, so Leoric Jenkins just now getting the 10 talent advantage while they have the Dragon Knight. They should be able to put in a whole lot of pressure. You should see some ults. Malthael gets punted out of the way, all the way over to the west. He's coming back in nice and slowly. Orphea doing your best to put in some poke damage, but gotta say, Team Orange managed to burn down that Dragon Knight surprisingly fast. There's the Orphea ult throwing in a couple chomps before fizzling out, and Malthael is back on lane clear. Did he take Pale Horse? No, he took Fear the Reaper. Even so, he's a really good laner. Sonya covering the top. Both teams taking a much-needed reset. Team Leoric Jenkins taking the siege camp here. Don't think that they know that they're on the siege camp, but it wouldn't surprise me if they tried to steal it, but nope, they got it fast enough. Plenty of damage going out from that Kel'Thas, especially in terms of fire spreading to other players. Diablo running in, throwing the Garrosh, but Garrosh gets healed by, it's called Ancestral Healing. Yeah, the Rhaegar ult. Oh, Junkrat! Getting down to the minimal amount of health and then trying to escape with his ult, but it just isn't enough. A little kerfuffle between Orphea and Malthael. Malthael almost, oh my gosh, he's 20. Oh my. He gets down to 4 health, but just barely survives. I'm not sure what does that AoE damage. Does Orphea do, not AoE, but damage over time? Because he was taking damage even after he left the fight. I'm not sure. I don't know what did that. I know Lunara does it, but she's not in this game. Sonya going to go ahead and take the Bruiser camp up here in the east. Nobody on this camp south, but Garrosh has got his eyes on it. And the Dragon Shrines are going to open up here in another 20 seconds. Malthael still taking charge of those lanes. If you look at the statistics in terms of EXP contribution, yeah, Malthael leading the entire game with 10,000 EXP contribution. Garrosh gets thrown over towards the walls, takes a little bit of turret damage, but everybody gets thrown back, and look at that flame spread. Look at it go. Plenty of damage here from Kel'Thas. Yep, he keeps throwing those W's out, and he's able to hit the tankiest player. Fortunately, he's tanky. He doesn't have to worry about it too much. Team Leoric Jenkins trying to kill this siege camp. There goes the ult from Orphea, which doesn't even get to a single chomp off. Diablo throwing the Tychus behind him, and then a brilliant follow-up from Sonya trying to finish off the kill, but Garrosh tosses him back to safety, and he'll be just fine, and then tosses Diablo to the team, who proceeds to charge out of tower range. He still has taken, I think, 3 or 4 tower hits, but Orphea follows up, takes the Rhaegar kill, and Diablo taking a lot of damage from that fort, though. But I mean, you gotta admire this Alex Strauss. She is doing so much legwork in keeping both the Diablo and the other players alive. Of course, Diablo gets a significant amount of healing from his Fire Stomp. Team Leoric Jenkins taking the Bruiser camp down south. Does Team Orange know about it? They probably have some inkling. Yep, there goes the ping from Rhaegar saying, hey, we need to get down there, but it is too late. They managed to get that Bruiser camp. That'll go ahead and put some pressure in, but Team Orange is going to waste no time in taking that camp out. Sonya's got a little bit of a split push going on, going to be able to take that top shrine, and the other members of Team Leoric Jenkins able to take the bottom one. Garrosh wanting to go in, getting stopped by the Junkrat. Are they going to try and hold this? There's nobody middle to take the shrine, so there's not necessarily a big reason to hold it. There goes the Orphea ult, and I don't know that Garrosh can get out of there. A brilliant ult followed up by some wonderful body blocking by Diablo. Makes it impossible for Garrosh to get out. Doesn't matter how much armor you have. If you're sitting in a pool of purple, you're going to die eventually. Team Leoric Jenkins amazingly able to take a second Dragon Knight this game. They decided to go for the middle fort here. Backed up only by Diablo so far, but looks like Orphea is there as well. And Junkrat and Alexstrasza have opted to push the bottom lane. Malthael doing plenty of damage onto that Diablo. He's not afraid to chase the tank, but you chase too far, get too greedy, you may live to regret it. So he falls back. Dragon Knight is broken, and a little bit of follow-up damage on Malthael. Oh, and there it is. There's the ult from Diablo. He goes in, he pulls Kel'Thas over, and pushes him in to his own ult. Not to be outdone, Garrosh seeking to get a kill on Alexstrasza. There goes the taunt after the throw. She's putting on the life binder, and she gets back up to about 80% HP there. There's the Orphea ult. Hits a couple times, then fizzles out. Diablo doing his best to body block for the rest of this team, but he goes down as a result. Now Team Orange wanting to follow up. Junkrat able to use a concussion mine to get both him out and the enemy pursuers sent back to their team. Sonya pushing top, Malthael covering middle. And it looks like an invade. So Team Orange's Malthael knows that they're trying to take that siege camp. Puts a little bit of pressure on it, but it looks like the rest of his team isn't committing to it. Probably because they're taking one of their own. So both teams are going to get their own camp. Sonya was narrowly getting out of what looked like a potentially dangerous situation. Team Orange putting a little bit of pressure on this middle lane while the two siege camps down bottom will duke it out. Junkrat getting absolutely stuck, both taunted, and he is not going to be able to get out. There's the Orphea ult, managed to get quite a few hits in. Malthael right in the middle of the Leoric Jenkins team, putting his trait onto every one of these players. They're just taking so much damage between the Malthael and the Kel'Thas. But Alexstrasza is a very potent healer, especially with that abundance ability. And especially while a dragon. I actually don't know if being a dragon buffs her healing. I'd have to look it up. Sonya kind of getting caught out, and it's lights out for her. Team Orange pressing their advantage, pushing down south, but Diablo pushing Malthael into turret fire. That sort of gives them the warning that they might be in over their heads, but they managed to take the siege camp. And that is that. That siege camp going to put some pressure there on that top lane. Nobody on Team Leoric appears concerned about it. I think that they might lose this fort as a result if nobody goes up. They're instead going to go after the siege camp down bottom and also take this shrine so that the Team Orange is unable to take the Dragon Knight for this game. Diablo going in, trying to get the Rhaegar, but gets stunned, or rather rooted. By the Kel'Thas. There goes the ult from Kel'Thas and Garrosh. Tosses Alexstrasza into the middle of Team Orange. Wow, we are getting a lot of chops from this Orphea ult, but again, not quite enough damage to make a huge difference. Rhaegar, similar to Alexstrasza, very potent healer. He is probably the most often banned healer in the game right now. I'd have to look at the stats. It's either him, could be Anduin, maybe Brightwing. I must have missed something there. Garrosh behind the tower. Probably a Junkrat concussion mine put in there, because I don't think Diablo can push someone behind his own wall. They're going to look like they're going to try to take that, but Malthael already up in middle, and it's going to be too late. Junkrat, not a good target for him to land his ult on, so he opts to throw it in the middle of a nature preserve. That's unconscionable, but we're going to pretend like that didn't happen. Junkrat on his way back, but Team Orange managing to get the fort. See, now this is fascinating. The kills are about even. Team Leoric Jenkins has had no problem getting the Dragon Knight thus far in the game. They've had 2, but they have not been able to push down any forts, whereas Team Orange, probably due to the successful laning efforts of this Malthael, who's just been so on top of it. Again, he's at, for experience, he's at 21,000, which, you know, 17,000 from Sonya, but he's been so good at getting these lanes that despite only having 1 Dragon Knight, they are already 2 forts ahead. Tychus getting thrown back, but then Diablo getting punted away, so there is no follow-up, and Tychus goes away quite happy. There goes the ult from Orphea, possibly to protect the Diablo, but doing plenty of damage and putting in a lot of legwork towards possibly getting a kill. The Lifebinder on Diablo heals him about 1/3 of his health. So many area of effect spells going out at the moment. Junkrat just barely getting away with his ult. It's exactly what you want. Doing some good damage to Garrosh there. Is it a 5-on-5? No, it's a 4-on-5. Team Leoric Jenkins at a slight disadvantage while Sonya does the offlane. Probably a good idea, especially if you can keep those friendly heroes alive. You can have somebody offlane. They need to make up for a little bit of lost siege pressure. Team Leoric Jenkins taking their camp. Team Orange, never outdone, takes their own camp. And we have a fight brewing up here. The Diablo thrown into the middle of Team Leoric Jenkins, spreading the fire to Alexstrasza, who's probably going to spread it to Junkrat. Good thing it doesn't spread infinitely, although at level 20 that may change. I wonder what's that? A little bit of... Nope, it's not going to be Living Fire build for Kel'Thas. It's more of a Flame Strike build with a Mana Shield at level 1. Team Orange going in to take this Bruiser camp. Junkrat getting thrown into the middle of their team. There's a little bit of follow-up, some effort by Orphea and other members of the Team Leoric Jenkins to save him, but it is not going to be enough. They managed to take that camp, but Tychus gets isolated, but just barely manages to get out. Diablo doing his best to provide a front line for his team, but it's not enough. Team Orange following this momentum, although Orphea is able to pick off the Malthael. But they have the advantage in numbers, and they're able to pick off the Sonya as well. Now they have 2 camps. This bottom fort is going to be absolutely gone, and my guess is they'll probably go for Team Leoric Jenkins' bottom keep as well. Death timers are pretty high. We have 40 seconds for 2 of these heroes, just 20 for the other. They're going to opt to steal the enemy siege camp. And Diablo and Orphea are left alone to pick up the pieces. I would expect to see Team Orange spread out and try and take a quick Dragon Knight here and perpetuate their advantage. I think that's what they're doing. Rhaegar going top. And a Petty Mine hitting the Garrosh on his way to that South Shrine. You gotta feel good about that if you're the Junkrat player here. Psycho, he's got plenty of good roots here this game. But Kel'Thas able to get into the Dragon Mecha suit and gonna do as much damage as he possibly can. Junkrat looking to put in a little bit of preemptive damage. And actually, they go bottom. Probably a good call, given that they've already got a little bit of damage there. They could probably get a keep if they play it right. But every member of the Team Leoric Jenkins is back up, and they are ready to repel this external threat. The Orphea ult goes on, chops a couple times, it fizzles out. There goes the Diablo, gets punted over towards the trees over there. Malthael in the middle of the enemy team activates his ult, gets hit by a couple power fire, and runs away. He's not all that tanky. Diablo punted a second time into the trees. Dragon Knight still putting forward some pressure there, but not able to connect with this keep. There's a line of heroes that he has to get through in order to get anywhere, and if he dies as Kel'Thas, the collapse could be catastrophic. Malthael putting it straight onto the Orphea. Sonya gets tossed by Garrosh into the enemy team. There goes the Diablo ult to stun everybody. Lifebinder on Sonya. She's going to be just fine, but can the same be said for Diablo? He looks fine so far. Another ult to heal Tychus. Plenty of damage coming out from that Orphea ult. I am having a hard time keeping track of all of the circles. Both teams absolutely out for blood. There goes the laser drill from Tychus, maybe hopefully to provide a little bit of peel so that they can safely get away. It looks like maybe Rhaegar is tuckered out in terms of healing, whereas Team Leoric Jenkins actually looking relatively more healthy. We'll see how it goes. Team Orange managing to take the siege camp. Team Leoric Jenkins putting a little bit of pressure there, but a little bit too little, a little bit too late. There goes the concussion line. It misses, but they managed to put Garrosh in an absolutely hopeless position, and he goes down. Diablo also going down. A combination of the Malthael trait and the Rhaegar rush. Orphea doing her best to put in some damage. There goes KT. He puts his bomb on Orphea. And Junkrat just barely not managing to escape. Here we have the bottom siege camp stolen by Team Orange. And it's looking pretty bad. There's 4 hulking Goliaths on their way to this keep. Diablo not going to be able to put in a lot of work in terms of getting those siege camps off, but he does pull Malthael in. He takes a little bit of damage, but he's awfully speedy, especially with this level 1 talent. He could just turn this on, and he gets a significant movement speed buff. It can also move through other units. I think that keep is gone. The siege camp still on its way to the core, with Alex Straza throwing her E at these camps. And she doesn't do the most damage, but she can continue to cast that for free as long as she continues to hit the same target. So there are worse healers at dealing with this quadruple siege camp threat. Team Orange once again managing to get both shrines immediately. And it looks like Kel'Thas is going to take it once again. Here comes the Dragon Knight down the middle lane. Just reminded myself of that Christmas song, Here Comes Santa Claus, so I will never say that again. I'm sorry. Malthael trying to get his trade on, a miss with his little shadowy E there. And they're putting in effort. Orphea puts on her ult, tries to get a bunch of hits onto that Dragon Knight, but he strategically dodges out of the way on the first one, and that enables him to come in and take this middle keep. It's looking like so much pressure. They still have the Dragon Knight. The core's wide open. They also have camp support up top. Team Leoric Jenkins desperately trying to establish order in their own base. Here's an attack on Garrosh, who gets healed not once, but twice to full health by the Rhaegar ult. Between that and his armor, they had to pour so much damage into him. Sonya possibly going down. She just barely lives and takes out Malthael. Does that spell a comeback for Team Leoric Jenkins? There's the heal from Alex Straza. The ult from Kel'Thas fizzles out, and Diablo rushes into the Garrosh, pins him against the remnants of the middle fort. And Team Orange is forced to retreat, and there's the follow-up both from Orphea and Junkrat. Are they going to get Tychus? He uses the grenade, but instead of pushing her further away from him, he brings her closer. It's beautiful. Beautiful to see. Looks like an altercation here brewing over this siege camp. It's a 2-on-2 with Malthael, Rhaegar, Sonya, and Diablo, but Alex Straza comes in between the tank and the healer. Can they do enough damage to the bruiser and the healer to keep that Junkrat coming in to provide some support? I don't think that's a fight they can win, and they lose Rhaegar as a result. Malthael left to run away, pondering what might have been. He's now attacking the siege camp that he thought would be his. Diablo rushing over the wall in to the Malthael, stunning him, and a little bit of follow-up from Junkrat. Is it going to be enough to kill him? Yes, the grenades are too much, and Malthael goes down, staggering. Another death for Team Orange, which just moments ago was so near to winning. Looks like this bottom fort might go down as a result of the siege camp. Maybe not. Nope, Catapult takes him out, no problem. But Team Leoric Jenkins able to take the bottom bruiser camp. They still have one at their east center, but it looks like they've got to go take care of these catapults first. My guess is they'll probably head up there. They need to get some of these forts down. At this point, they've got 3 heroes on Team Orange that they have to contend with if they want to put any pressure on the defensive structures of Team Orange.
Control both shrines, and the Dragon Knight's power is yours.
Looks like they're opting to take their siege camp there, and it's a 3-on-3 here between Orphea, Diablo. Oh my gosh, the double heal, or excuse me, the double life binder on the Diablo keeps him at full health. He's still fighting the Tychus, who's able to do a lot of damage to tanks. But if you have a double life binder, perhaps you could take it. The Kel'Thas fire spreading to most of Team Leoric Jenkins, and now it's a 4-on-4. No, 5-on-4. Because Malthael's death is still staggered. So Team Leoric Jenkins has a slight advantage if they can get into a full-on 5-on-4. That's exactly what they want to do. They've got a camp pushing up top. Junkrat's pretty close to this tower. It would be great if he could just put in a few grenades and take that out. Malthael looks like he's opting to go take out the top bruiser camp. Possibly take that shrine for Team Orange as well. This is turning into quite a long game. Both teams at level 24. We've been going for 25 minutes, which is usually the upper end of how long a game can last in this game. Orphea gets taunted. Is there enough follow-up? Doesn't look like she's taking a whole lot of damage as a result. Her ult goes out. Diablo pushes the Tychus over his shoulder. He's not taking a whole lot of damage either. The follow-up just isn't quite there for this team fight, and both teams walk away relatively safe. Tychus is there. Yep, they're just defending this fort. They will not budge on these forts. Just give them the fort. They've earned it. There goes the Rhaegar. He gets stunned and pushed into the enemy team. Is he going to be able to heal himself back up to full? Yeah, he gets out no problem. Orphea, though, not afraid to charge right into the middle of Team Orange, and she gets 2 kills for it. Let's look at her damage here. Orphea. Against heroes, she is the top damage for Team Leoric Jenkins with 131,000 damage. She is still behind Kel'Thas in terms of damage, though, between his excellent flame strikes and his ability to spread the fire amid the entire enemy team. 154,000 damage from Kel'Thas. Looks like a possible fight brewing down here. Junkrat's tricky shuffles get triggered, but no follow-up damage. Diablo stuns the Rhaegar into his own healing fountain, but Rhaegar, he's got ancestral healing, and it's going to go off twice. He's going to be able to get away just fine. But with Junkrat there, my bet is they could take that fort, as they have taken the middle one with the Dragon Knight. Orphea wearing the dragon skin, coming up to the wall that's protecting the middle keep. Sonya making sure that no sneaky minion waves make it to their core and steal victory away from them while they're not looking. They still have the Dragon Knight at 47%. There's a lot of fights going on here. Team Leoric Jenkins coming to back up the Dragon Knight here in the jungle. What are they going to do with it? Are they going to finally take this fort? There it is. He punts Malthael a very short distance, but the fire breath is enough to take down that fort no matter what happens for the rest of the game. Team Leoric Jenkins did get the fort. There goes the flame strike, hitting 3 of the enemy team members. So many circles going on right now. It's so hard to keep track of everything. Garrosh, at just a tiny amount of health, gets picked off. Diablo, not willing to let the Tychus go, and he gets him as well. Orphea following up with all her bursty damage. Malthael, I'm not sure what he's doing over here. Not sure what he's doing. I guess lanes. And he may be right. Like, if they can prolong this fight down bottom, he may be able to take both the top and middle lanes here. And indeed, there are 3 catapults threatening the core for Team Leoric Jenkins. Do we see anybody going home to deal with that? No. Malthael, just being so sneaky. Just so sneaky. Stealing Team Leoric Jenkins' camp is... nope, Junkrat's not going to be there in time to stop him. They're still down 2 players, but Team Orange will not lose their lane pressure. There goes Kel'Thas, taken down by Leoric Jenkins, specifically Diablo. But Malthael able to pick up the Orphea kill. Neither team willing to concede an inch. Malthael's trade is on Diablo, doing a little bit of damage. Good healing there from Alex Straza. Junkrat throw in the nades.
The red team's core is in peril. The shrines awaken once more.
Shrines will be up in 30 seconds. Sonya did go home to defend the core, but it looks like their core is only at 63% for Team Leoric Jenkins. So it's possible that with a really strong push for Team Orange, they could end the game. My bet is that the next Dragon Knight will decide the winners. And Team Leoric Jenkins has done such a good job staving off the relentless siege assault from Team Orange. If they can get the Dragon Knight, I think they still have a chance of turning this around. They go ahead and get their bruiser camp up at the northeast corner of the map. There's both of the shrines are up, but it looks like a representative from each team is going to take one, which means no Dragon Knight for now. Malthael doing his best to look scary. It's kind of hard when you're wielding candy canes, but he makes it look good. This looks like a gank here. But in the other direction, they head up north. But Team Leoric Jenkins backs away, sizing up their opponent. Sonya relegated to taking care of these bottom siege potential here, and Rhaegar taking the North Shrine. So Team Orange is gonna have a chance to get the Dragon Knight, but they're not alone in the middle lane, and Junkrat is taking the bottom shrine, so looks like they will not indeed have a chance. Team Orange lurking in the bushes. Not a lot of health going into the start of this fight, but that doesn't stop Sonya from jumping right in. Once again, just so many circles. Tychus doing his best to whittle down their tankiest ones. Garrosh able to successfully taunt both Orphea and Diablo. Diablo has to run away. Doesn't have enough health to go back in. Fortunately, Team Orange not pursuing too much, possibly because of their own injuries. Malthael getting out with about 40% health. Tychus at 50%. Rhaegar taking the South Shrine, which means Team Orange is going to be eligible for the Dragon Knight, but probably won't be able to take it with so much presence. Junkrat taking the top shrine. Yeah, and this Junkrat has been so on top of the shrines anytime they have both. He just goes straight for it. He is not going to lose to the Dragon Knight. Here we have, let's take a vision of the Team Leoric. Yep, of course they know that Team Orange is on their camp stealing it, but there's nothing they could do, especially as they don't have the support of their full team, so they don't go in, they lose the siege camp. Possible team fight brewing here. There's Kel'Thas's ult, doing a little bit of damage to, oh man. Well, we barely knew him. Diablo looks to be taking this fight all alone. He's taunted, and he's rooted. There's more coming out, but the Life Binder is going to be able to heal him to absolute full, and there's the Orphea ult follow-up, but Team Orange managing to get out of it relatively quickly. Orphea wasting no time in chasing. She's going to do as much damage as possible with this Garrosh, but he looks pretty healthy. Meanwhile, Orphea herself had very little health. Diablo in a similar situation. Malthael picks up the Junkrat kill. Junkrat killing Garrosh and Rhaegar. Orphea taking out Kel'Thas. Tychus killing Diablo, and Kel'Thas killing the Orphea. I can only assume that was an incredible fight. I think I was only able to process about 10% of it, so that is the breakdown. That's who killed who. It really makes me want to play Alexstrasza. I think that Life Binder, where it goes off twice, allowed Diablo to just sit in the middle of a 5-player hostile team for a good 10 seconds and be totally fine. Of course, he deserves some of the credit as well, given that he's got this Flame Stomp build, so even if he is surrounded by a ton of enemy heroes, he can do so much self-healing there. He pushes that Tychus into the wall. He manages to kill him despite the tank killer, Malthael, putting some constant pressure on him. Is he going to go for it? See, if I were a Diablo, I would not willingly go into a one-on-one with Malthael, but I don't know, because Diablo's been playing so well. And Malthael, as good as he is at killing heroes, specifically tanks, he is very susceptible to getting taken out by CC. Now, Malthael has a level 13 talent he can take, where he becomes unstoppable for 2 seconds. So, that's a pretty good defense against Diablo. Maybe that was their plan. There's the ult. Oh, just barely missing on the ult, but hitting with the Flame Strike on the enemy team's Alexstrasza. She gets taken out so quickly. No time to heal herself. And the Dragon Shine no longer available to anyone. Diablo, though, trying to get an easy kill here. Ancestral Blessing coming in on that Malthael, keeping him alive. But it's ironic. He could keep others alive, but not himself. There's the Rhaegar going in. Junkrat just barely able to get out, but the continued damage from the Kel'Thas is too much. He dies, but notably he gets the garage kill before he goes. So it's not an entire loss. Red Team's core only at 63%, now under assault by 4 catapults. I don't see anybody from Red Team going home. I think that might be the end of the game. Yes, indeed. There goes the GG. Both teams who fought tooth and nail. But only one can come out on top. And in this case, we have to give our congratulations to Team Orange for an excellent game played. That gives Team Orange 1 point, and this is a best 2 of 3 match. So in their next game, we will determine if they get to move on to the semifinals or if Team Leoric Jenkins is going to make a comeback and push them into a third game. Thank you everyone for watching.